Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Shaneeka Moore-Lawrence, and I am a proud mother of one son who is a college freshman, majoring in computer engineering. I am an elementary school principal, which I love. And I'm also the NCPTA president-elect. Well, I will say sometimes there can be power struggles. I would say, not from my own personal experience, but having worked with, different colleagues and different PTAs throughout the years, sometimes the PTA wants to be the principal and the principal wants to be the PTA. And so we kind of really have to respect the different lanes of responsibilities and lanes of perspective and expertise that each of those two stakeholders have. And neither one is more knowledgeable or less knowledgeable than the other, but we can't engage in power struggles or tug of war in regards to doing the business that's going to help our children and our families and our staffs, our teachers. Another thing is everyone's busy. And so finding the time to carve out, and for me, it's always been a priority. For me, and it may just be my history with PTA, but it's finding the time. So making the time for a one-on-one contact with the PTA president every month, making a time commitment for a summer retreat where we get together and brainstorm and have, talk about the work, being available when they text me or email me or call me. Getting to know them beyond just, you're the PTA president or the vice president or whatever, but really get to know them and their family. A third would be the finances. The principal needs to understand that the PTA funding is the PTA funding, and sometimes principals believe because the money is coming from their families and the students and staff, they think they can kind of dip their hand in the honey pot. But as a member of the board, I am one vote, I'm one voice, and so how the PTA utilizes that money is a collective democratic decision, not something that I, pound a gavel and say, hey, this is what we're going to do, or that's our money. No, that's the PTA money, and I'm just blessed to be able to serve as a member of the board. Every year, I host a staff PTA membership drive where I provide incentives for staff members and hold contests and things like that, so that we can have all, if not the majority of our staff, as paid members of PTA, because the PTA does so much throughout the school year to support our staff. Also, a positive relationship between the PTA and the principal would also include the principal and the board meeting for a retreat over the summer. So each summer, our board and myself get together and we kind of outline what our goals are for the year. We talk about the theme for the year. We talk about activities and events that we want to host throughout the year. And we just make sure that we all are aware of what our responsibilities are as individuals, but then also how we're going to put all of our talents, expertise, and all of our strengths together to make it a great year for PTA. As a principal, I do attend all, if not most, of the PTA board meetings. If I'm not in attendance, then I do send one of my assistant principals, and then we also ensure that the principal is present for all PTA sponsored events. Also, one more thing I would emphasize is that each month I do meet with the PTA president, and the PTA president and I sit down and we talk about how things are going. We have a brainstorming session. We talk about the agenda for the upcoming meeting. We go back and look at our goals. We do some problem solving if necessary, and that also helps with effective communication. And lastly, we do have a group chat. So all of my PTA board members and I are on a text chat group, and so when things come up or if things need to be shared or we just want to give each other a motivational word for the day. So for me, the PTA principal relationship is enhanced with communication, relationships, and trust. So when conflicts and challenges arise, if you are at that point in place right now, my advice would be to request a meeting with the principal. I would strongly suggest that it appear to be more of a problem-solving meeting than a let's go and continue to elevate this problem or conflict we're having. And I would suggest that it's start with the meeting with the principal and the president, where the two people can sit down, put everything on the table, hear each other out, have equity of voice. And then if that does not work, then I would encourage you to consult your local council president to get advisement. And if in the absence of that structure, I would suggest that you contact your state PTA office to serve as a liaison or a neutral party to kind of help massage the matter. I do definitely believe in, following the chain of, command or following the chain of order. So I would say definitely start with the principal. Don't elevate the issue beyond the principal until you've given the principal and yourself an opportunity to sit down and have a conversation. Also, as it relates to avoiding the relationship power struggle or the non-prioritization of time or avoiding the financial challenges that sometimes occur between principals and PTAs. That summer planning retreat is so important. It's where everyone gets to come in. We talk about what's the role of the principal with the PTA, what's the role of the president, role of the secretary, treasurer, vice president, committee chairs, etc., teacher representatives. We just lay all of that on the line so that everyone can see, very clearly, very explicitly, this is my role on this board. Please make sure your accounting systems are very explicit. Make sure that you have checks and balances as it relates to money. Because if there's one thing that really, 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 really makes us nervous is money in general. And when I say that, I mean, accounting systems. And although the PTA money is the PTA money, we still want to make sure that you, as an organization, are in good standing in regards to everything associated with the banking and checking account and the paperwork and the audits and things like that. Another huge thing I would say is definitely making sure that we are culturally relevant and responsive. Our demographics are definitely changing on a yearly basis, and so we want to make sure that we are providing programming, activities, and resources that are relevant and robust and appropriate for all of our families. And if there is a particular group that you are unsure about how to engage, just ask questions. And if we don't know the answer as a principal, we can definitely connect you with someone in the school or in the school district or in the community who can help you. The work that you do as a PTA leader is so critical. If the pandemic didn't teach us anything, it did teach us that when we have all hands united, working towards a common goal, there is nothing that can stop us from getting to our students and our families and our staffs what they need. So I encourage you to definitely promote PTA, be a positive role model, do all you can do to make sure that your branding and your words, your actions, your programming is aligned to how you want your PTA to be represented. And while you're doing that, make sure that you bring the principal and the school staff along with you, because when those three entities join arms, join hands, join elbows, because it is the pandemic, there is nothing that we cannot accomplish. So be encouraged, stay encouraged, and keep doing the great work that you're doing.